Good evening. So tonight we're going to be working on anterior glenohumeral dislocation exercises and the rehab setup that I have for it. I broke it down into 4 phases. In the first phase, there would be no exercises whatsoever. It's total immobilization. That's immediately post-injury. Today I have with me my friend Bridget. She actually has had an anterior glenohumeral dislocation. So it's been great that she's been able to help me with this. One of the things, though, in the phase 2, what we're going to start with is doing doing joint mobility exercises and range of motion exercises. So the first I'm going to show are going to be the joint mobility exercises. So what we're going to do is basically place our hands on our shoulder, just like this, and push forward for the glide, for the anterior glide, come back, and then push back for the posterior glide. And then I would take and I would push up to check for superior glide, and then I would push down to check for inferior glide. And what that's doing is that's telling me if there's any kind of crepitus in the shoulder, if there's any kind of inflammation, and just to see where her pain level is. That's one thing that we'd be assessing too during these phases is how much pain she would be in. The other set of exercises we would be doing would be range of motion exercises. Obviously, you're going to do this to where your patient is most comfortable. The first one would be flexion. So if all she would do is just bring her arm out straight to show flexion of the shoulder. And here we can see that she's got 90 degrees of flexion. Obviously, if she was in pain and we would only get maybe, say, 20 degrees of flexion or 30 degrees of flexion there, that's all that we'd be looking at right there. And if that was enough, that was where her pain level brought it to, that was where we would assess. The next thing that we would do would be extension. So she would bring her arm behind her. And here you see that we have about probably 30 to 40 degrees of extension, allowing for the shoulder to just kind of be brought back. And again, if this is probably normal for her now. If she were in pain, if this were her second phase, we'd probably be looking about right there, maybe right about there. So anywhere between 10 to 20 degrees. Extension or flexion. Go ahead and turn the face towards the front again. Now the next one would be abduction, so she's just going to raise her arm up to the side. And again, we have we have probably about 110 degrees of abduction there, which is excellent. So if this were anybody else, it might be just a little bit lower. We'd probably be looking about 50 or 60 degrees. And then of course there'd be adduction, so she's going to bring her arm across. And there we have probably about 70 degrees of adduction. And then the last sets would be horizontal abduction. So she's going to bring her arm out straight and then to the side. So that there is 90 degrees flexion and then 90 degrees of horizontal abduction. And then the last one, she'll bring it back to 90 degrees of flexion and then bring it across her chest for adduction, horizontal abduction. And then the last is she'll bring it down and she'll flex the elbow at 90 degrees and then she'll rotate her arm out for external rotation and bring it back in and then rotate it in for internal rotation. During the first phase of the exercise, what we're looking for is to make sure that we can get all of those exercises in and help to strengthen that muscle, that capsule there. Then we'll begin working on phase 3. Now we're working into phase 3. Phase 3 is usually 4 to 8 weeks of post-injury. Basically, what we're going to be looking for here is we've worked on the range of motion, we worked on the joint mobility. Now we're going to be adding some resistance to those. So the first exercise I'm going to have her show is called band pull-aparts. She's going to flex out at 90 and then horizontally abduct. And we would do 3 sets of 10. I'm only going to have her do 1 set of 10 for the video. Okay, so the next one that we're going to have is we're going to do external rotation with the band. So I'm going to stand on her opposite side of her injured arm, have her grip the band, and then I'm going to have her flex at 90 and pull away from me. And we'll do 1 set of 10 for this too. Again, it would be 3 sets of 10, 3 to 4 times per week. All right, now the next one that we're going to be doing would be internal rotation. So I would stand on her injured side and I would have her flex at 90 and rotate in. And again, 1 set of 10. And I haven't said it because I know Bridget has a lot of experience with physical training. In fact, she's my personal trainer and great friend when we go to work out and do runs together. But one thing that she has done is kept her stance basically shoulder width apart. That's what you want to make sure that your patients are doing as well, is making sure that they have their feet shoulder width or just slightly shoulder width apart. So that way it offers them a proper base and they're not sitting there and they're not stooping over and they've got correct posture. The next exercise we're going to have her do is lateral band raises. Basically, she's going to step on the band. And then what she's going to do is she's going to hold it in her hands, pronate it out, and then bring the bands up to abduction of 90 degrees or as best as she can, like so. And again, it'll be 3 sets of 10, 3 to 4 times a week.
That's a video taking.
Daniel's been on everything. So that'd be Bridget's daughter, Audrina, in the background there.
Can I do this now?
Okay. All right, so the last one that we have to do is a return push with the medicine ball. And in this video, we're going to be using a 3 kilogram medicine ball. And what I'm going to have Bridget do is I'm going to have her step and face me. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to have her grasp the ball, bring it to her chest, and push it towards me, like that. And then I'm going to toss it back and have her catch it. And we're going to do 3 sets of 10, 3 to 4 times a week with this. And what this is doing is it's helping with deflection, but it's also helping with building that anterior joint capsule.
Is this going on YouTube?
Yep. All right. So what it's all unlisted on YouTube, so your mom won't be made famous or
It's
anything.
for his class.
Yeah. So with those exercises, after we've completed the exercises, we would be performing a set of stretches so that way we could give more mobility to the joint. As we all know, the shoulder joint is one of the most mobile, if not the least stable joints in the body. So the first exercise that we would have, or the first stretch we would have her do, is take her arm across her chest, grip it with the other arm in a T, hold that for 30 seconds. Okay, I'm not going to have her hold it for the full 30 seconds because it'd be too long of a video then. The next exercise we would have her bring is bring her arm up and over her back. Grasping with the other hand, push down, and obviously you're going to be doing these on both sides so you're symmetrical. And then again, hold that for 30 seconds. The next one, she would bring her hands behind her back and clasp her hands around and start to stretch. So it would bring a stretch into the anterior joint there. Okay. And there was one more. Let me take a look at my... the last one we'll have is where she'll stand and bring her shoulders up to her ears. Hold that for 30 and then bring them down and relax. So, okay, that's all for phase 3. Now we'll be working into phase 4. Okay, so now we're into our phase 4 exercises, and now that we've worked on joint mobility and range of motion exercises, then now we're going to be working on strengthening this joint to help prevent further injury. So with these, the first set of exercises that I'm going to have her do are going to be alternating dumbbell raises. You can use either dumbbells or kettlebells, whatever you feel comfortable with. So what she's going to do is she's going to stand shoulder width apart, bring the weight up to her shoulders just like a clean, and then press overhead. And once she's done one set, that would be 1 rep. So it would be, again, 4 sets of 10 with 3 to 4 times per week. Okay, so the next, and obviously as we would progress, we started out with 3-pound weight, so the next week we'd move up to 5 pounds, and the week after we'd move up to 8 pounds, as long as she felt comfortable doing that. The next set of exercises I would have her do would be again with the dumbbells, and what she's going to do is she's going to stand shoulder width apart and just bring the dumbbells up and raise them until she's flexed at 90, and then bring it back down. And again, that's 1 rep right there, so it'd be 4 sets of 10, 3 to 4 times a week. As you can see here, Bridget is still keeping great posture. She's, like I said, she's been very experienced with physical training. I think you competed in what? Half marathon?
Half and 4 triathlons.
4 triathlons, okay. So the next exercise, and then of course, along with doing that, the reason she has had the experience with the dislocated shoulder is she competed in the Tough Mudder, and her and her husband did it, and he was lifting her up and felt something pop, and lo and behold, she dislocated her shoulder. So the next set of exercises that we're going to be doing is what's called car drivers. She's going to hold the plate out, flex at 90, hands just like you would on a steering wheel, and then rotate it, and rotate it. And what this is working is it's working your external and internal rotators. So, and then, yeah. Again, there's no order that you can do these in. I've just been kind of going along with what my list is. The next set would be alternating dumbbell deltoid raises. So what she's going to do is stand shoulder width apart, bring her arm up to where it's almost chest height, bring it back down, bring the other arm up till it's almost shoulder width height, and then bring it back down. And that would be 1 rep. No, they're fine. Okay. All right, now the next one we're going to do is I'm going to have you go over to the wall to do a wall push-up. So with this exercise, what we're going to do is she basically put herself into a push-up position and then just perform a regular push-up against the wall. And what we're really looking for is to make sure that she doesn't have any winging of her scapula on either side. So again, it would be 4 sets of 10, 3 to 4 times a week. Okay. With that one, when we're looking for our progression, we're going to work on doing 15, 20, and then eventually on that last week, we're going to try to get in to where we're actually doing regular push-ups. So, again, all the exercises that we have would be, oh, I forgot one. I forgot the external dumbbell rotation. So you'll have to excuse me, but we have one more. So with this one, what she's going to do is she's going to stand our feet shoulder width apart, flex her elbows at 90 degrees, and rotate externally, and come back in. And again, what this is working is it's working the external rotators, which are going to help to strengthen that joint.
Tell my right one.
Yeah. Your right one's the one you hurt, wasn't it?
It doesn't go too far.
No. One of the things you're going to want, and Bridget didn't do it, but one of the things that some people could do is they could like rotate their torso. So when they're doing these, you're going to want to make sure that they're just rotating the arm, not their torso. Again, for the exercise, for the stretching, it's all the same stretches. We're just holding them for 45 seconds. I want to thank you for taking the time to view this video. Hope you had a great time, and have a good day.